Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. I'm JD Dalfonso, President and CEO of the Peoria Area Convention Visitors Bureau, and on behalf of our board of directors and staff, I'd like to cordially welcome you to Project 350, a special production outlining the new era of destination marketing for Peoria and all of Central Illinois. We're coming to you today from the studios of ScheffTech Productions, LLC in Morton, Illinois. As you know, Morton is a community partner and member of the PACVB. I want to begin by thanking Brian Scheffler and his team here for partnering with us on this special project. The news we're going to share with you today was initially slated to be delivered in mid-April at our annual luncheon. However, as we all know, our lives took a hard turn in March. Because of the postponement of this event due to COVID-19, it has forced our team at the PACVB to think outside the box even more to deliver an update to the new and exciting plans the PACVB has for Central Illinois. So, instead of trying to present to 300 individuals in one room, we have chosen to bring you this professional production live on Facebook and YouTube to share the new era of destination marketing for Central Illinois. I want to begin to dive into today's program with a call back to the foundation of what destination marketing organizations are tasked with doing. To explain how we plan to usher in a new era of destination marketing, I want to break down why we do what we do. Thanks to an industry professional in Bill Geist and his book Destination Leadership, the impact of DMO's responsibilities are clearly outlined for all to understand and has been instrumental in the recalibration of our approach to destination marketing. Much of this perspective is outlined here. Destination marketing organizations are typically charged with attracting visitors to town, encouraging them to discover the region, spend their money, and then return home and tell their friends so they will want to visit in return. With today's consumers posting every facet of their lives on an increasing number of social media platforms, a single exceptional experience could conceivably spawn hundreds, if not thousands, of other visits. So the end goal of tourism traditionally has been increased visitor spending of new dollars in a local economy, generating profits for businesses, jobs, for residents, and taxes for municipal, county, and state government. Taxes spent on meals, entertainment, gifts, and lodging create a situation in which governments enjoy new revenues to provide much-needed services. And maybe, just maybe, homeowner property taxes won't have to increase as rapidly as they would without visitor spending empowering the economy. States have even calculated the tax implication to homeowners if visitors did not spend money in their destinations. Now, depending on the size and population of the state, those impacts range from $400 to $1,000 per year per household. Because DMOs are typically funded through special taxes levied on hotel stays, it's easy to pin the ultimate measure of funding and success on, quote, heads in beds. But we'd kind of be mistaken to do so. See, this motion puts only particular stakeholders in focus for the DMOs, which would be misguided. When it comes down to it, only about a quarter of visitor spending is spent on lodging, leaving the 75% to meals, entertainment, shopping, fuel, etc. To focus solely on hotels would be misguided, but to ignore them sets us up to underachieve. What we need is more than just heads in beds. What we ultimately need is torsos through turnstiles, cheeks in seats, feet in the streets, fans in the stands, more in the stores. It's not just heads in beds anymore. It's actually just heads. So because of this realization, internal discussions at the CVB have spurred an in-depth review of our purpose and mission. Now, this generated thoughtful breakdowns to understand exactly why we exist and how we will execute destination management to the fullest for Central Illinois. So, why do we show up and do what we do every day? It's to establish the Peoria area as the most desired region in the country for wholesome, memorable experiences. And how we go about doing that is, as an industry leader, the Peoria Area Convention Visitors Bureau promotes our region as a desired destination for visitors, contributes to the economic growth of the communities we represent, enhances quality of life for residents, and amplifies pride across our region. Now, despite the toll COVID-19 has taken on our lives, we believe that our purpose and mission still rings true. When faced with this adversity, when we've been knocked down, it gives us the opportunity to get up, dust off, recalibrate, and re-engage. Our ongoing bout with COVID-19 has resulted in the tourism industry vanishing. You see, we've experienced a world without tourism over the past few months. The coronavirus and stay-at-home orders have not only upended our routines and our sense of normalcy, but our social gatherings, our entertainment, and our overall quality of life. With this abrupt halt to our ability to gather in a restaurant, let alone welcome visitors traveling to the area to support those same restaurants, venues, or hotels, municipalities are seeing significant budget shortfalls due to the loss of sales in hotel and amusement taxes. Across the nation, 1/3 of unemployment claims are coming from the hospitality industry, whether that be the staff of our local hotels, restaurant workers who service at hundreds of businesses across central Illinois, or the venue employees who execute operations at the Peoria Civic Center, Louisville Slugger Complex, Avani's Dome, and Eastside Center. All local entities that generate revenue from municipalities providing economic opportunity and quality of life have taken a significant hit. Once those things were gone, we felt the impact as well. However, that's enough doom and gloom. Here's where the light at the end of the tunnel starts shining a little bit more brightly. Keep in mind that we've been here before and have always persevered. The Peoria area has always stepped up and faced adversity head on. Many chapters have been written throughout our 340-year history, and we're in the midst of writing another one right now, together. Truly, this region is positioned well to recover, particularly with our market size being such a strong community for meetings and conventions, as well as sports and outdoor recreation. We are already working with our partners to monitor the latest trends in public safety and event execution. Larger events across the country are estimated to operate at lower levels, bringing smaller attendance to mid-sized markets, and Peoria is ready to host when the time comes. In addition, travel behaviors are expected to change as we ease back into a new normalcy. Our industry expects far more drive travel throughout recovery than any other means of travel. So when we showcase our community pride and amenities, the PACVB stands ready to strategically target even more strongly to those within shorter driving distances. Before this pandemic hit, travel and tourism played influence to more than $656 million in travel spending across central Illinois, translating into $16 million in local tax receipts. In the end, 5,000 jobs are supported in the region through tourism. Those statistics are more than just dollars and cents. They're new roads funded with help from the restaurant sales tax. They're memories being made by youth athletes competing in central Illinois. They're 5,000 jobs putting food on the table for families. Tourism means jobs. Tourism means opportunities. It means economic development, safer roadways, and new memories. Ultimately, when we're forced to tear everything down, it gives us the opportunity to rebuild in a more innovative way. The Peoria Area Convention and Visitors Bureau stands ready to fulfill the needs to bring recovery to our hometowns. This new era of destination marketing will help drive us there, and we're excited to share that direction with you here today. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of our program.
Hello, I'm Karen Jensen, President and CEO of Farnsworth Group. Farnsworth Group is a full-service engineering, architectural, and survey firm that's been in the Peoria area for just shy of 30 years. We've seen tremendous growth in the central Illinois area and can attest to the positive impact that tourism has on our local communities. We've been honored to play a role in that as well, with our work on such iconic places as the Gateway Building in Riverfront Park, to Granby Drive, and the East Peoria Levee District, to the many developments in the revitalized warehouse district, including the Murray Building, where our offices are located. With our community's strong focus on placemaking, we have the ability to help transform our communities and showcase the many wonderful things that our area has to offer. We are privileged to be in the Peoria area, and we're proud to support the Peoria Area Convention and Visitors Bureau and all of our clients and partners who make Central Illinois the very best place to live, work, and visit.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Eugene Daniel, Evening News for WMBD News, and I'm really excited to be able to be here with you this morning, also in my capacity as a board member for Enjoy Peoria. You just heard from the man himself, President JD Dalfonso, who joins me now, a bit about the vision and what's been going on with Enjoy Peoria since, really, it's been one ride of a year. And so I wanted to spend some time with you now and talk about a few of the things as we go into this this new launch, this new avenue for Enjoy Peoria. So first and foremost, for people who don't fully understand exactly how Enjoy Peoria works and what its contribution is to the Peoria area, can you explain that for them?
Yeah, so the Peoria Area Convention Visitors Bureau, Enjoy Peoria, we operate as a destination marketing organization. I think sometimes when you understand that role and that name, it puts a different light on what exactly we do. And particularly as the industry in tourism has shifted, it's shifted to making sure you're hometown advocates for your region. And so when we get to market that, simply put, as I've said in my remarks earlier, when you get to showcase the great experiences and discover the great things in your backyard, really you just want other people to come visit, experience those great things, go back home, talk about all the great things they did, and then that spurs more people to come and visit. And with the way you market that, the more experiences, the inspirational stories and discovery you have here has translated into that economic impact that we get. So
you talked about the transition in tourism. I don't think any of us have experienced any kind of transition like the one we've been forced to experience in the last 3 or so months with COVID-19. How has that impacted your work with Enjoy Peoria, the PACVB, and your vision and how you operate as an entity?
Yeah, our vision, our purpose is always to enhance the quality or make sure that the Central Illinois region has the country's best wholesome and memorable experiences in whatever we do and what you have to discover here. And so throughout these hardships that everybody's facing, Eugene, we're not alone in this, and we're always together, as we continue to say, and it's nothing but the truth, is that when we continue to do that, we're still marketing the region, except we found that our audience may be just more local. I think recovery is what we're all looking forward to now. And as we look to recovery, who are we marketing to for those discoveries? And I think it's our own local residents. We think our residents are our biggest brand advocates, and so I think they're going to be able to rediscover some of the great things that have been in our backyard. And many of those are festivals. I always think about this, Eugene, when we go back. You're from Atlanta, Georgia, correct?
I am, yep.
And one of our sit-downs was talking about when you first moved here, and I'd like you to elaborate on this too, you found out that everybody has a festival.
Yeah, which was not something I was used to. I was like, why does every community in Central Illinois seemingly have its own festival of some variation? But I loved it.
Yeah, but what do you see? We get to expand upon the quality of life, the pride of our hometowns. And me growing up in Washington, my wife from Metamora and all my friends from Central Illinois, we all had these festivals. So again, this is something I might have taken for granted that we have this in our backyard. And right now, I think we're towards that recovery. Getting back to my point, our residents are looking to get back to those experiences. Oh yeah, we've always had the pumpkin or marigold festival or steamboat days. Now it's kind of been taken away. Some are trying to change, but we want to emphasize we want to get back out and rediscover what's here. And I think that's going to be part of the large recovery, spending local, spending small businesses, and really getting back on track.
How's this been for you? I mean, this is your first year, not even fully a first year, because I think it's in August in which you were officially announced. The transition for you coming into this role, what are the things that you've learned in the process, and moving forward, how you use that in pushing Enjoy Peoria ahead?
Yeah, we've been able to stay incredibly optimistic throughout all this. We've it's maybe weird to say, but through COVID, through this, we've seen silver linings through many opportunities. This being an example of one right now, is we were going to present this opportunity in front of 300 people in one room over a lunch and really boost up that experience. But now, this almost seems like the better opportunity. So what I'm saying is COVID has made us think more innovatively in transition to do it safely and get important information out to our communities. So instead of just getting out in front of 300, we're getting in front of, we'll see what the count is here, probably hundreds and hopefully thousands. So it's been great to see us continue to prioritize what's in front of us and execute an optimistic, return to what we call a new normalcy. So
yeah, there's this thing that I've been hearing a lot from Enjoy Peoria, Project 350.
Yeah.
What is Project 350, as people might have seen that in some kind of literature, maybe a release about today?
Yeah.
What is Project 350 and what's the origin?
It's our look to the future for the next 10 years, and more will be coming out. You'll learn here today of what's coming in the next 10 years, this new era of destination marketing. And so what Project 350 is 10 years from now, in 2030, it will be the 350th anniversary of the Central Illinois River Valley being discovered by French settlers. So knowing that that anniversary is coming up, and this marks the 340th, obviously, we see a 10-year opportunity here to really change the way we market Central Illinois and really move forward in a strategic way. So with that, there's going to be not just the announcements today, but others coming in the future as we progress, down the road. And so that's really what Project 350 is about, is an ongoing look toward the future, particularly up to 2030, and the new innovative ways we can market the destination.
And I know today, as people continue to watch on later on in this broadcast, they'll learn the new branding and kind of new naming and those kind of things for Enjoy Peoria and the vision that you all have. Can you speak to the financial impact that this all has? I mean, I know people at home are probably thinking, you've already explained kind of what you do, but the significance of Enjoy Peoria particularly as we're trying to rebound from COVID-19 and trying to find our new normal. A lot of that is financial as well. What role do you think that this organization plays in getting Peoria and the surrounding communities back on track?
Yeah, that's great. Being in the hospitality industry so much, working with our hotel populations who are trying to work innovatively, it's going to start here local and progress from there. So what the financial impact is very devastating for the lack of taxes that are allowed to come in now. And so our municipalities are navigating those waters just like we are as well. What we're looking to do is we've been very optimistic as to the amount of spending that's still been going on by our local residents, dining out or just supporting small businesses. That does have a much larger effect, and I think we really get to see that impact, knowing that this is the true ROI of even just local spending and not even just visitor spending yet. That when we get to spend at those local restaurants, continue doing that. That means adding back those jobs in hospitality. And that's going to create jobs. It's going to create those businesses to rebound and hopefully not close. And so that's where I think the financial impact has been devastating, but the recovery is going to start local. As we've seen some numbers come in, our local residents have really stepped up to the plate and supported in just even the local spending. So I do think we'll see a recovery and an optimistic one hopefully coming soon.
I know a lot of what your organization does is it looks at other communities, it looks at other areas. What are some of the things that you've seen other places that have either done and you're like, you know what, maybe these are things that we can adapt here, or in a way in which you think we can be the community that spearheads and makes a model for others? What are some of the things that you're learning and gleaning from other locations?
The best example I can give is that even in my short tenure so far, we have a statewide organization called the Illinois Council of Convention and Visitors Bureaus. And right now, as COVID hit, every CEO across the state, plus the Jan Kemmerling from the Illinois Office of Tourism, has been by our side the entire time. And really what came up was this group has come together closer, and from what I understand, than ever. And so with that group, we meet regularly, even through Zoom meetings on Mondays. We collaborate statewide on things that we're seeing, whether it's numbers or new initiatives or remarketing campaigns or supporting other communities when it's safe to do so. We're all in it together, and we keep saying that, but it really rings true. And that's what I've seen, and the best example in our industry is that all these CEOs and entities are coming together just to share ideas and not conduct by themselves and try and survive by yourself. It's really been remarkable to see week over week.
All right, so my last question to you actually builds upon that. We're all in this together, right? So for other people who are watching, they're like, okay, well, Enjoy Peoria is going to do their job. This is what they do. How can others partner in effort? Everyday person in their communities, in their homes who are watching this right now, how can they partner in the process of helping Enjoy Peoria get the community, tourism, the vision for the Peoria area back on track?
As simple as it sounds, we want that positive conversation. As we keep saying, we truly ring true that our residents, I believe, are our best brand advocates. It's my job to talk about how great Central Illinois is because I believe that. But it's also even better when our residents do so. It's easy to get down in these times or complain about certain things, but Central Illinois is a remarkable place to live and grow. I grew up here my entire life, and I think when we get to share those experiences, all I'm saying is stay positive and provide a positive conversation out there, because little do you know that positive conversation is influencing people to come visit our hometown. And then, of course, the residual effect is spend money.
All right. Well, JD Dalfonso, president of Enjoy Peoria, not done with you yet because you'll want to stick around. I'm going to be done, but you'll want to stick around because then you'll be able to see the new branding and the new layout for Enjoy Peoria.
Perfect.
Oh, you like this?
Each year, we award the Steve Kouri MVP Award to an individual or organization who has gone above and beyond to build and promote the Peoria region. This year, it is my honor to present this award to an individual that has exemplified the meaning of a collaborative leader who has gone above and beyond the call of duty to assist businesses and organizations across Central Illinois, particularly through our most recent turbulent times. This year, the Steve Kouri MVP Award recognizes Mr. Chris Setti, President and CEO of the Greater Peoria Economic Development Council, and now former interim President and CEO of the Peoria Chamber of Commerce and CEO Council. Mr. Setti's tireless efforts to help the business community navigate the COVID-19 crisis, spearheading the creation of the gpcovid.com website, and sending out daily email updates during the ever-changing landscape during the first 2 months of this crisis, propelled him to the top of the list of many nominees for this award. Gathering the important information and making it easily shareable for the business community was vital to the survival of both large and small businesses throughout our region. Furthermore, Mr. Setti has been a driving force for collaboration between organizations throughout Central Illinois and continually looks to work with the CVB and many regional initiatives as we work to make Central Illinois the ideal region to invest in. In addition, Chris has been a board member of the PACVB for many years and continues to be a staunch supporter of the Visitors Bureau's mission and dedication to enhancing the quality of life in our communities. With that, I want to thank you, Chris, and congratulations.
Well, thank you so much, JD. You know, I'm both honored and humbled by an award. And, you know, someone like me doesn't get this award because of the work that I do. It's because of the work of the team that I work with. And so, you know, I'm really accepting this award on behalf of the Greater Peoria Economic Development Council. That is inclusive of our staff, our great board of directors, and all of the investors that make up our community. You know, these last few months have been particularly trying, as we've all kind of indicated. And although more traditionally my organization works with larger companies and helping companies in the innovative and startup spaces, what we've really found is that, you know, it's oftentimes those local eateries, entertainment venues, cultural festivals, and those are the sorts of things that make a community worth living in, and really what helps us to attract businesses to our community. And it was really difficult to watch those companies have to close their doors and those events cancel themselves over the last few months. And so it's really all part of one economy, and the visitors economy is just as important to us as our healthcare sector and our manufacturing sector. And, you know, economic development's a team game. And so the Convention and Visitors Bureau has always been a really great partner in that. I'm excited that you're there, and thank you for your leadership in that organization. And I'm looking forward to, you know, better times ahead and working together, you know, towards more successful outcomes. So on behalf of my whole team, thank you very much for this honor.
Well, thank you for all your work and your team's work to support the region. So once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back again. I'm JD again. Just want to touch base now on our exciting new developments, what we've all come here for, to see a little bit of the new era and the new look of the Peoria Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. And we're looking forward to a new brand identity reveal today for all of Central Illinois and our colleagues across the state and the country to know that Peoria will have a new look as we market the destination. And what I'm proud to do today is bring in an instrumental colleague of ours, almost seems like, of Simple View, who has helped us through this process, Miss Cindy Neighbors, the creative director and experienced designer for our project here. And we're graced with her presence today, actually from Denver, Colorado. She's been able to join us to touch base on this brand reveal as we move forward. So part of this process, and working with Simple View, it started with a website redesign. And with that, we thought we would put all items on the table, whether it looked for the look and logos and colors of the PACVB, and we've had a lot of fun with that. One of the great things that Simple View has outlined for us is a strict 15-step process throughout this entire redesign, which has been great to follow along, and they take every detail seriously. But what I've been most impressive with throughout this process is that one of the first steps along this process is that they bring a team, the team that you will be working with through all 15 steps and throughout 8 to 10 months of work. They're going to come out here first thing and experience the destination, putting their boots on the ground, eating and drinking and staying here in Central Illinois. So we were able to do that quickly after we signed with them, and so their team came out. Cindy was part of that team, and her job, in a nutshell, was to really follow along and then soak in everything that was in the surroundings, the people that were here, the venues we were checking out, the restaurants we were partaking in, the hotels we were touring, and see what, then even the people walking through. What was the true feel of Central Illinois? And particularly from a visitor standpoint, it's presented a great opportunity for us to move forward with what we have. Now, the other side of this is the analytical side from data that was pulled in determining what a possible new name might look like, what the look might look like, from every little detail to a new brand identity. I keep using the term brand identity because, as I understand it, a brand identity is the way it looks as a logo. You see a Coca-Cola can, and you see the script, the white script, and the signature red on the can. That's Coca-Cola's brand identity. The brand is cracking it open, pouring it over ice, and drinking. It's the experience you have. So they were here to experience the brand of Central Illinois and then attribute a brand identity to it. And so that's what we're here to showcase. And with that, we're going to start with the first slide here that breaks down a little bit of our website audience. And this is pulled from Google Analytics from their team to really understand what is the top, and what they pulled together was the top 25 destination keywords that pop up when searching Central Illinois. And the larger the word, the more it was searched. And so we got this back and was very interested to see some of the results. Of course, what you see here is that Peoria is the top search word in Google, and in doing so, it suggests that to get to Central Illinois, people are using Peoria as the phrase to search out things to do, places to see. And of course, Bradley University are on the hilltop, second large there. Peoria Chiefs, you'll see Obed and Isaac's restaurants in Peoria, Illinois, Wildlife Prairie Park, Peoria Civic Center, movie theaters, Caterpillar making lists, of course. So this was used to see what the trends of terms were used during these searches. So we've had fun with this just to understand some of the sentiment or some of the search behaviors. The next slide will also highlight a little bit more of what they're searching for when doing so. What you see is our intended audience here, monthly keyword searches by group. And for those you can see on the screen, top one is places, followed by restaurants and hotels. This is a broad search behavior from this intended audience. So really what this shows is what people are searching for, and our goal is to capture these individual searches. That's what so we know there's this much potential out there. 120,000 searches happening regarding places in the Peoria area. And so knowing that they're searching places and restaurants and hotels, we know there's an intended audience, and you can see the search goes on, things to do. So this is going to influence the way our website and marketing habits will move forward, knowing that this is the behavior of people online. And so moving on, we'll see that the audience intended also for relative search popularity over time. We can see that this graph shows the popularity of these searches and locations among Google search users and the trends. So you can see the top blue line there is Peoria. That middle purple line indicates Bloomington, and our partnering cities down at the bottom include Morton, Peak, and Galesburg, as well as just for reference as to where people search these terms. Again, we're just emphasizing here Peoria is a hook to intrigue visitors to come here by search habits we see on Google and search engines. So the next slide with content analysis. This is it's very interesting to see this slide. As it was broken down to us, you'll see this is 3 different bar graphs here indicating the view of leisure pages for every 1 view to industry pages. So what you'll see here is you'll see home, visitor, and planner. And this is the trend of individuals. I see Cindy's joined us. Cindy, do we have you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Cindy. Oh, wonderful. Good deal. I'd love to have your perspective here, Cindy. I don't know if you've been on or you just got back, but I was just breaking down the process, and particularly your role in this whole process. So with that, I'll finish this slide, and Cindy, I'm going to hand it over to you just to recap a little bit about what, give you a little floor of introduction. So I'll wrap up this slide here, just indicating that our current website now, as we evaluate, is intended to appeal to meeting planners. And as the industry has changed, even over that short time of our website, the visitors and people from our own residents, our own residents are viewing the website far more. So how do we reconstruct our website and information to make sure that we're appealing to, obviously, the larger audiences visiting the website? So, Cindy, why don't I hand the floor over to you? I've given a little bit of recap primarily to the process, and I've gotten a little bit into the analytics, but I'd love for you to share a little bit of your perspective as you were here in Central Illinois before this process started.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, JD. So, one of the things that Simple View does, and kind of to talk about my company for a minute, is that really destination marketing is everything that we do. So our only clients are destination marketing organizations or convention and visitor bureaus. That's all we deal with. So right now we have about 900 clients, including some international, but predominantly in the United States. So I was talking to JD a couple days ago and said, I have such a great perspective, and I'm so lucky because I could be talking to Anchorage, Alaska in the morning, Perth, Australia in the afternoon, and Wilmington, North Carolina in the evening. So we get to see everything that's going on everywhere. So when we looked at the data and the analytics that we saw about Peoria, we really realized that there was a missed opportunity to really speak more to that, what we call a leisure visitor, or sometimes your local community can even consider it their friends and families that come to visit. Those people that are visiting are very much like a attendee to a meeting. So it's very easy on a website or in your marketing plan to talk to the two as the same. They both are looking for the same thing. They're looking for those events and those festivals that JD was talking about earlier. They're looking to go to those restaurants. They're looking to go out and visit your new breweries and your distilleries and go and do your outdoor experiences. Clearly, experiences is the name of the game for almost anyone right now, and that's what people are looking for. So we also saw, and I can absolutely agree with JD's comments earlier, that we really are seeing drive market is incredibly important. We really did feel when we were there that Peoria was very well positioned to really kind of add a little bit of depth to their personality locally as well as to their region, and really be a little bit more exciting and a little bit more, have more energy for those people to come and visit. So when we go into designing a website, one of the biggest things that we love to be able to do, and unfortunately with COVID we haven't been able to, but doing a destination immersion is incredibly important for us. It gives us the opportunity to come to a destination like Peoria and really soak it all in, really understand what goes on there, what the region has to offer, all the little hidden gems, some of the larger important aspects that we might be able to see and glean on, and so be able to kind of take those and use those to inspire the website design and then brand design. So when we came to Peoria, our real intention was to do the immersion, to really look at your website design. And when we were there, we really were very lucky because JD and Josh were very open to us being very honest about it and saying, you know what, we think that you really need to rethink your brand. It just does not speak to who you are today. And it doesn't speak to the energy that you really have and what's really going on there. And that piece that we really felt too, which was that Peoria pride, the pride in the region, the pride in Central Illinois, who your people are that live there and work there, and how dedicated they are to your region and to being really vibrant. So that's kind of how the conversation started. And so as we kind of move forward into the conversation and we're thinking about the website design, we were really fortunate that JD and with Josh's help kind of looked at Simple View and said, well, you definitely do see a lot, which is true because this is everything that we do. And so we really started talking about doing a redesign and a rebrand on the logo. So at that point, we really kind of took a couple of things to think about. And one was exactly what JD was talking about earlier, is that we really wanted to make sure that we integrated the local community. Sometimes in a name and how you actually present a destination, it's really important, not only to a visitor, but it is to the local audience. So we took those things into account when we were working together.
Good. I think we're going to get right into that, I think. So it's a perfect segue, Cindy. So what's in a name? I'll hand it back over to you as you can break down a little bit of the process behind the scenes as well.
Sure. So we, again, Simple View does a lot of design work and really, as I mentioned, only works with DMOs. So we really go from the standpoint of really making sure that we have a purpose in place when we go into design. We know it's really important for the community to really buy in, really feel like what we're working on really reflects them. And then also it still is attractive to a visitor, whether they are an attendee for a meeting or whether they're friends or family or whether they're somebody who's just happening by Peoria, finds it really interesting and might possibly want to move there or want to work there. So when we go into this, and you could probably go to the next slide, we really do think about what there is to know about Peoria. What we found and what we realized was that there was a lot to discover. There certainly are a lot of things to enjoy in Peoria, but we need to help people discover that first, because everyone's going to have a separate special piece or spot. It could be outdoor experiences. It could be going to a Zion Coffee downtown. It could be going and seeing a Pekin baseball game. So we really wanted to make sure that we included the word discover because we really felt that it was really important. We also felt that for anyone who's local in the Peoria area, it gave the opportunity to rediscover those special things. We're really seeing that across the country. Just as JD said earlier, most destination tourism is really reliant on the local community really embracing who they are and really being proud of their community and wanting to invite people. Just as JD said earlier, talking up Peoria is a really great thing for your locals to be doing. So we really wanted the local community to really be able to come back in and rediscover what they thought was special about Peoria. Then we really kind of realized that because Peoria is growing and it's so vibrant and there's so much going on and there's a lot of community engagement and also the tourism industry is really starting to become more robust as our analytics showed that you have really quite a bit of a visitor interest in Peoria. We really realized that there is so much more to discover all the time because of that growth. So that kind of helped us kind of get to a point and a purpose that basically said you experience things everywhere, but you discover them in Peoria. We really thought that that was a beautiful positioning statement and something that we could really move forward and that the CVB could really kind of hang their hat on and kind of move forward with a lot of pride. So with that, we have something really exciting. I'm going to make sure that JD is back in on this too, because we really worked together and pulled together a new brand identity for you. And I wanted to kind of give a real shout out to my team back in Tucson, Arizona. I'm actually visiting Denver right now, but we really our office in Tucson. But my team just had so much fun with this. When we went and did our discovery, everything that I had to bring back to the team, aside from the analytics and all the research that we did, it was just so inspiring. And they just thought that Peoria was really cool and that we really had to give you an amazing mark and some really great assets to work with. So what we really recognized was that we wanted to kind of create a whole new feel that had a nod to Americana, but we really knew that there's a lot of new energy going on in Peoria. So we came up with a term called New Vintage. This is a really great take on what we said, which is like it's a gourmet take on your favorite pizza that you had it as a kid, or a craft take on your favorite beer or spirit. It's just that little bit of care and concern and pride that elevates what you have and what is familiar to you, but it kind of makes it all new again. So that's really what we decided to go with.
Cindy, this is it was one of my favorite slides in this presentation is because I got to reflect on your work and your perspective of it, and I got to reflect on my own life and the story I continue to tell with some people that have been able to see this presentation is at home. That you saw that record player in that slide, and record players were once old and they're becoming new again, right? The sales of records. And what I see even in my own home is my 2.5-year-old son, Joe. We have a record player at home, and one of his favorite things to do is to play the records. So here we see, and it's not, Simon and Garfunkel, unfortunately, although we have those records, he's putting on Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack on a record player. So here I have an old record player.
Exactly.
My son, who is 2.5-year-olds, putting on one of the newest records you can have around right nowadays. So that picture really hit home for me as we were going through this unveilment. So we'll go back to the slides as we begin here. I'll tee it up here for the actual unveilment here. So we see new vintage, really piecing it together. In the next slide, you will now see the new logo and design for the Peoria Area Convention and Visitors Bureau.
So here we are. A lot to take in and a lot of thought to go into it. In a couple of slides, we'll actually really break down that logo so that you have the ability to really take a look at all of it. But as we kind of roll through and you kind of get to look at the color palette and the fonts that we used, you'll see a couple of different things. We really made sure that we gave you a really good, strong mark in a couple of different formats. We know because of what we do and how much design work that we do, that it's really important to have a very flexible design so that you can use it in a lot of different ways on a lot of different assets and a lot of different print materials and in digital. We also really wanted to make sure that the color palette really spoke to the destination and that it was really unique. We see a lot of the same color palettes kind of over and over again, and we were very, very purposeful in really looking at your area and picking up some little hints and some subtleties from not only the idea of new vintage for the brand, but also some of the things that we saw in the area. So when we break down the logo, this is kind of something that designers do, is that we kind of built it with a couple of different elements when it used all together. So one of the most important ones that I really like to point out is the half wheel that's up above the word Peoria. This we really felt spoke to the industry and the growth that goes on in Peoria, whether it's from your back in the day and how you were first started in 1680, all the way up to today with Caterpillar being there. But we also wanted to make sure that we did a nod to also your riverboat and to how important the river is to Peoria and the lifestyle there. We definitely wanted to make sure that people knew that you had started in 1680, that you've been around for a long time and you have a lot of history and a lot of pride in that. And then also wanted to make sure that we used Discover, but also used the River City because we think it's a really important piece. In the next slide, we kind of break down some of the color palette that was really fun to talk about. And you'll see that we named some of the things that were really relevant to your area and to your different towns and cities. So we have Dragonfire that's for the Pekin baseball team. Pumpkin, definitely to give a little shout out to Morton for their Pumpkin Festival. And then Deep Lake and Spring River for all this great outdoors and the river that you have there. And then just kind of something really fun because, again, my associate creative director, Travis Ewell, and his team just always have to push just a little bit harder and have a little bit more fun, that we made sure that you had not white and not black, because when you're going into new vintage, it's never going to be bright, fresh white and bright, fresh black. It's always going to have a little bit of history built in.
That's what I like that point, Cindy. It's one we've had fun with in reviewing, is that when we talk about the history and the pride that we have, when you look back at old photos or even videos, it's never going to be just black or just white. It's not quite black and not quite white. So we appreciate that attention to detail and through every aspect of this process.
Yeah, it was really fun. I think we have a couple more slides that kind of show you how we played this out. So this one really just was a narrative that we had written for you, but more than anything to let you kind of see how all of the elements and all of the type and the fonts all come together. Again, you'll see this. That's yours to use in any of the materials that you're going to be putting out to market tourism and meetings and conventions in the Peoria area. But it kind of gives you an idea how everything plays together. The next two slides are really fun, and this just kind of shows that extra excitement and that energy that our team had how inspired they were by everything that we had brought back to them from Peoria. So we realized that you are a region. You have towns and different neighborhoods that we really wanted to make sure had their own place in the sun in different elements and different things that you might be talking about and when you're marketing Peoria. So not only do we have the main logo for Peoria, but we went ahead and did some really fun little extra assets for you for discovering Morton, Washington, Pekin, and East Peoria, just to make sure that everybody had their own place in the sun, so to speak, when we're talking about Peoria.
On this one, it was just a real quick, it was one of my favorite slides again, Cindy, in your quick turnaround. This is a challenge from our team to say, hey, we have a lot of partnering cities as well that take part in the Central Illinois destination marketing, and we challenged your team, and they quickly came back with these beautiful designs on how our partnering cities can contribute to some of their own logos and discover East Peoria, discover Pekin, discover Morton and Washington. So really proud of your team for including our Central Illinois area. We know that Peoria is the hook that gets people here, but they're also getting here and then venturing into our cities across Central Illinois, and now they have their own brand identity to be able to discover in their hometowns. So thank you again for that great work.
Yeah, really exciting. So this next one just kind of shows just a couple of other little assets that we gave you for anything that you might need. We really wanted to go ahead and speak about some of the other things, Dozier Park, that Pride, that 1680 Pride, things like that. So we just really wanted to make sure that you had plenty to work with because this is a new look for you and that it was very inclusive. And, just as you said, JD, that everybody was included. As Peoria, as what we say, is kind of like Peoria is considered the high tide that can raise all boats. So Peoria is the one that's really going to bring everybody to be excited about Morton and Washington and Pekin and East Peoria. All those areas really kind of come together and really make up the sum of the excitement in Central Illinois.
Yes, and here you'll get to see the first glimpse of our Discover Guide. This is also part of the new unveilment, a new announcement. These will be hitting the community here today in about 5 minutes, and so they're on their way out to see. This is of course, a new design, a more inspirational design to some of the great stories that are being told here in Central Illinois. So you'll be able to pick those up and see those here just in a little bit. So, and then finally here, the next big announcement is our new website. Of course, this is part of the entire process. So Cindy is still there. She can maybe touch base real quick on that as we're coming down to the time. With that, this is all part of the long-term process, or the long process we're going through with SimpleView, and making sure our design of our website is informative, inspirational, and you get to see a quick glimpse of what that might look like here on September 1. Cindy?
Yeah, I think that we really all recognize that today that like a website is really kind of the hub, and it's where almost all of your marketing efforts will basically point to. So we really wanted to make sure that we really did the best job ever for Peoria, make sure that we're really using that brand consistently throughout the site on mobile and on desktop. That's also one of the things that we do. Our design work is always responsive, works on any size screen whatsoever, and it's a great mobile experience. So we're really looking forward to having that launch coming up in just a couple months.
September 1, 2020, mark it on your calendars. DiscoverPeoria.com is coming. Cindy, I want to thank you and your team for you joining us here today and your diligent work your team is doing for us here in Central Illinois. We appreciate the passion and pride you've taken in the detail of this project. And I know we'll be in touch real soon, but I want to thank on behalf of our Central Illinoisans and Peorians and all our communities, thank you for your work to make sure we market Central Illinois to the fullest of its potential.
Right. Thank you so much for letting SimpleView work with you. Looking forward to that launch.
Thank you. All right, we're coming up to the end. That was our big announcement, and as we close out here, I just want to thank everybody involved with this production, particularly ScheffTech Productions here in Morton, Brian Scheffler and his team for putting this on and being flexible and innovative throughout this whole process. I want to thank all of our guests today, being Eugene Daniel, Chris Setti, congratulations for the Steve Kouri MVP Award, SimpleView for joining Cindy again, everything that went behind the scenes, and of course our sponsors you'll see here in just a little bit. But appreciate everybody's support throughout all of this. And we're in this together, as we always say. I will conclude by once again thanking everybody, and we truly look forward to the Project 350 ahead and the years we have as we bring in this new era of destination management with Discover Peoria. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
Peoria's playing tonight in the heart of Illinois. Fun is taking flight. Peoria's playing tonight. Now I can't shake